How you doing, everybody? Nick DiVirgilio here, and today's video is about playing music with a click track. I know that's sounding very simplistic, but it's worth mentioning over and over again, even to the most seasoned professional. Practicing to your metronome keeps your time solid, keeps you centered with your band, whether you have a click track going or not. So it's a great practice tool. Now, for live situations and in the studio, playing to a click track is extremely important because you want to have a nice solid tempo of your song, especially if you're playing simple songs, pop tunes that have the same tempo all the way across. If you play crazy progressive rock music like I do, you can have these really long songs where the tempos change, time signatures change all over the place, so being able to set in comfortably with the click track is extremely important no matter how the click track is changing around you. There's also a bunch of different ways to use a click track in a live situation. So let's get in a whole bunch of those little details and go through a few of those scenarios. I purposely changed the click track a couple of different ways just to kind of as a demonstration. The first one was just playing quarter notes. Then about 4 bars in, it switched to playing eighth notes. And then I sped up the click track from 120 BPM up to 135 BPM and changed the meter at that point to a 6/8. And that's just to show you a few different ways the click track can change underneath what you're doing. A lot of bands are bringing their DAWs to live gigs, whether you use Pro Tools or Ableton Live, which is a great one for live playing. And the DAW is not only controlling the music you're playing along to, but it's also controlling the lights, the production. It can be controlling the video behind you. So the band has to be locked to that click track. Now, you could either do it where the whole band gets the click track and you have to have a great monitor engineer and a good monitor mix to have the click track go to everybody, because not everybody likes it at the same level. Or the way a lot of bands do it is the click track just goes directly to the drummer, and he's the one responsible for keeping the rest of the musicians in line. So you have to have good trust between the rest of the players and the drummer, and they have to be able to follow him or her no matter where the tempo goes. There's a bunch of different ways you can listen to a click track. A lot of times when I'm in mid-tempos, somewhere around 90, maybe up to 120, 130, quarter notes are usually fine for me. But sometimes when you get to lower tempos, 60 BPM, somewhere around there, slow ballads, it's good to have eighth notes, maybe even 16th notes going along, just to kind of keep you steady through the whole track. And from my experience, a lot of other players like to have more subdivisions in their click track. I'm going to play another little tiny piece of music here. It's really short, but the first half has click tracks just going on the quarter note, and then I switch it to eighth notes halfway through, just so you can hear what I'm talking about. So as you heard there, I'm playing along to some guitars and a bass guitar, and that's an easy way if you want to go out and play a gig or a drum clinic or anything like that. You bring some tracks out with you, and it's very easy to play along to with that click track running in the background. It keeps you centered and playing in time with all the music going on in the background. One thing a lot of pro drummers do when they go out to the world and do their drum clinics and master classes is that they bring their trusty iPhone or anything like that that has music on it, and they have the tracks split. So music on one side, click on the other, and just send a feed to the front of house engineer. So that means all of the music is going to be in mono. So it's important to mix your tracks that you're going to be playing along to so they sound good in mono, but then you'll have the click going along with that, and you just have to get a feed to your ears, and it's a very easy thing to do. There's a lot of great products out there in the world for click tracks and for metronome for your practicing and for taking to gigs. One I want to mention is Polynome Pro. It's an app that you can get on your iPhone and Android. I'm pretty sure it's an Android app as well. Myself and Mitch Gallagher did a video on how to use Polynome Pro. It's in the archives. Just search InSync or our YouTube page to find that exact video. I just wanted to mention it again because it's a great app for really working around click tracks, programming different kinds of click tracks to get used to doing that, where you have a click playing all the quarter notes and then maybe the next bar it only plays the quarter note on beat 1 and then silence for beats 2, 3, and 4, then the click track comes back in. So it's a great practice tool to really hone in your time. But also what it does for a live situation is it has this thing called playlists, and you can put every song you're going to be doing at the gig that night in a playlist. You can have the click track going through the whole song if you like. You can also have it just do the count-offs. And the coolest feature I think about this particular app is that you can have the click track, the count-off of the song, play the drum beat that you're supposed to play in the song coming up, if that makes sense. So I'm going to just play a couple of these really quick to show you what I mean. And what it does is it'll play the count off, maybe like 4 bars, it'll play the drum beat and then stop and then advance to the very next tune. So when the time comes to get to the next tune, you're already ready to go. So check this out, it's pretty cool. So it's playing you the time and the drum beat close to what you're supposed to be playing in the tune. So if you ever space out or forget what you're supposed to be doing, it's going to be there for you. Shows you the big numbers, the countdown and everything. So it's a very cool app for a live situation to keep you centered, to keep you focused on what tunes you're going to be playing. You'll never forget. You can have the set list, every song in order. Very cool app to check out. And finally, for this little short playing with a click track video, playing to a click track can be boring with just the kink, 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 kink going on all the time. So what you can do to make them a little more interesting is to put loops behind the click track, whether it's the loop that's going to be in the song you're playing or just, a program loop just for you as the drummer. It can just make it more interesting, make it a little more lively, a little more energy. When you're listening, it'll kind of flow through your hands and through your instrument and out into the audience. So it's just a fun way to do it. So I programmed a loop into Pro Tools, just a couple of bars, just to kind of give you a demonstration of what that sounds like. That particular loop has a lot of pumping action going on. It's kind of got a nice funky groove and feel behind it, so it's really great for practicing. And again, no matter what kind of song you're playing in a live setting, that could just make you really focus in on the time and give you a little bit more of an energy bump when you're playing with the rest of your band. So it's just something to maybe consider and check out when you're programming your clicks for your live situations. There you have it, everybody. Playing to a click track is sort of a necessary evil, but it can be an awful lot of fun, and it's great discipline, and sometimes it just needs to happen. On a live gig, if you've got production and tracks and lights and video, it all needs to be synced up. You need to be able to play to a click track with confidence and with great time. So I encourage you to practice your brains out to a metronome, get some great apps like Polynome, play along to your click tracks in your DAW, and when you get to your live gig, you will be solid and have great time and a great feel, and the audience will really feel the love.